Okay, so thought I would just show you. This is Full Heart Knob Shelter. We are, I did not know this when I set out to land here, but we are on top of this mountain. Usually we're on the side. But look at that beautiful sun up there. Woohoo! Great day. People left trash. So wrong. Okay, but anyway, we are up on top of the mountain, so it is very chilly this morning. But I thought I would just, I haven't been doing a very good job of showing off the shelters. I haven't actually stayed in the shelters lately, so I haven't been showing it off. But they're here. Here, we'll show you. Full Heart Knob. Full Heart Knob. This is the shelter. It's the usual norovirus alert. But what makes this different? They have this gutter system, right? Which then collects water into this thing, which I have no idea, and it's all locked up, so I have no idea what this does. But then down here, I'm not going over there, I'll zoom in, like down here is like some kind of nozzle spigot thing. Water not tested, boil or treat or blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you know what? Instead, I hauled 4 liters of water up here 3 miles because the comments in the map system said that it was tasted funky. Yeah, I ain't drinking no funky tasting water. I think I said that last night. So yeah, I hauled 4 liters of water. It's about what I use at night, and then in the morning I had just enough. My tent site was right here, and it was perfect. Right there. I loved it. And I don't know what these are. Obviously there was some form of structure there at one time. Maybe a fire tower? I bet it was. Yeah, I think I read that actually. So it worked as a nice table. And there's a privy if you are brave, but I'm not brave anymore. I am noro-terrified. So, oh, and something new. I was able to hang my bear bag on this branch right here. Now I say new, it's actually new in a while. All the branches are so high up that it's like almost impossible for me to throw my bear line. But after hearing all about Bear Dennis, I decided, yeah, I was going to get better at throwing my bear line no matter how high the branch is. So anyway, it was a beautiful stay. I'm freezing to death. My hands are literally going to fall off because they're so cold. I haven't been this cold in like at least a week, right? But it's just because we're so high up. All right, so here's the thing. It took me like, what have I been out here? Like 49 days now? And I finally figured out why I'm constantly feeling that I'm running out of battery life. It's because my setup for the way I'm using it is probably good for 5 days. And I want it to make 7. This is the problem. So I am going to try and be a little more conservative over the next couple of days so that I can stretch it out and get into the next town Friday. It's only Tuesday right now. And I want to get to Glasgow on Friday morning. So I will be doing more pictures, less video. I say that, but you know me. But honestly, there's no way I can run out of cell service. So run out of that all the time. Battery. I have to have my phone battery. So I really have to be good at it. So I'm going to be quick. And it was a great morning. I slept great. I'm feeling great. I am just ready to tackle the day. But my goal for today is only 13 and a half. Oh yeah, let me tell you all about that. Oh, unbelievable. So it's only 13 and a half. It's a little disappointing. I really like to do a minimum of 15. But the way the shelters and the campsites fall, it doesn't make it easy. So I could go to a campsite 4 miles beyond. So what is that, like 17 and a half? Except they thank goodness for the map, the comments in the maps and the far out, because it's 3 weeks ago, it sounds like, or maybe 2 weeks ago. Maybe it's only 2 weeks ago. It sounds like somebody had some kind of animal. And I thought I read skunk, but I'm thinking logically it can't be a skunk. When I tell you the story, you'll know why. Was it a raccoon? I don't remember what I read, but somebody had like a small animal that was bothering them, like to the point where they wouldn't leave the tent alone, and they punched the animal in the nose through the tent. Now, if it was a skunk, that person would be sprayed so bad. That's why I'm thinking it couldn't have been a skunk, but who knows what it was. Anyway, after 45 minutes of trying to deter this creature, they had to take, quote, drastic measures. Basically, they killed it. How did they kill it? Slingshot? Were they carrying? I don't know, but they killed this animal and left its rotting corpse in the campsite. So now all the comments that have been left since this event say that it still smells wicked bad. Well, I'm sorry. I am not spending the night in a campsite that smells wicked bad, like a dead, rotting corpse. Pretty sure they said skunk, but that just doesn't even make sense. Okay. Anyway, it also, that campsite didn't have a water source. Not that I'm opposed, because as you know, I hauled up 4 liters of water last night. So I would have taken water if I had to. But it looks like Bob Letts is the best option for me today. So it'll be a little bit shorter day. But then I think I can make up for some lost miles tomorrow. But we shall see. Anyway, glorious, glorious, glorious morning. And yeah, I'll be back when there's more to report. Bye. So, had there not been a sign, which I'm going to read to you, hopefully it doesn't take too long, but it's cool, it's historical. So this little open area would have meant absolutely nothing to me, except that as I was going through, trying not to miss signs now, this is what I see. Let's see, you can't read it, I'll read it for you. The small open area seen here was a collier's pit. During the late 1700s, early 1800s, the pit, as it was called, was used to make charcoal for nearby iron furnaces. The term pit is misleading because no excavation actually existed. Instead, a level area cleared of rocks and roots, approximately 50 feet in diameter, stood here. This site was chosen for its nearness to the furnaces and location downhill from an abundant timber supply. About 1837, a new and more economical fuel source, anthracite coal, came into use. This new fuel was mined and therefore did not require large tracts of lumber. The iron furnaces were then able to move closer to the cities, leading to the downfall of the charcoal making business. Ah, poor charcoal making business. But wow, that's a cool bit of history. And off we go. Wonder if this tree ever feels like, oh, maybe I'm a little bit in the way here. Excuse me while I move over. And this is the other side of the road, the view from the other side. I promised to tell you about my toe. Anyway, do you remember like 100 years ago when it had rained for like 3 days and my sneakers were wet for like 4? Well, if you remember, I had fallen twice. Once on the wet rocks, and then another time, I don't think I ever told you how I fell. Well, I was trying to avoid the river that was running down the trail. And I had this dream that maybe my sneakers would dry. Yeah, no. But in that effort to avoid the water, I stepped on the side of the trail, which was all mud. My foot went out from under me, and I went in the mud instead. We had a bit of excitement there that time. But anyway, so I'm not sure which fall is responsible, but the rest of my hike that day, my pinky toe on my left foot was killing me. And honestly, I really, really, really thought it was just all the grit in my shoes and socks. I mean, there was no way to avoid it. There was so much mud in my shoes that I just thought that constant abrasion against my toe had just created like agony. So actually, I think the day of the mud fall, well, it was the same day. Both falls were the same day. That's right. So I got to the shelter, and the stream. They had a really nice stream really close by. So I actually took my socks and my shoes and rinsed them out thoroughly, so they were like nice, sparkly, clean, but soaking wet. And I put some triple antibiotic on my toe and a Band-Aid, and didn't think anything of it, except that night when I put my toe inside the sleeping bag, just rubbing against the sleeping bag was very painful, even with the Band-Aid. So I put a sock on it, and fine. The next day, new Band-Aid, and I was hiking. About halfway through the day, I'm like, oh my gosh, I am in excruciating pain, this stupid pinky toe. So stopped, which you know how much I love that. Stopped, got my shoe off, looked at it, and I'm like, oops. So the toe was like 3 times its size, all black and blue. I'm like, I think I may have broken the toe. So I got out my medical tape and I taped it. But, medical tape doesn't last forever. And it was all wet. And so it came off and I had to do it again. And you know what? And I took 3 Tylenol. Because isn't that what you do? You just take 3 Tylenol, tape it, and move on. I wasn't stopping for a broken toe, especially a pinky toe, for crying out loud. Well, anyway, I got to the next shelter. Yeah, it was a shelter. But I was camping. And I was talking to Puck, and she said, you got to get Leuko tape. I think it's Leuko tape. I'd never heard of it. I said, all right, well, next time I'm in Outfitters, I'll try to get some Leuko tape. And I told you about the story with the Outfitters and the Leuko tape, and it just happened to be in the hiker box. Well, whatever. That was a miracle. So I ended up using that Leuko tape on my toe. And the only thing I knew to do for a broken toe was to tape it to the toe next to it, right? So that's what I had done with the medical tape, but it wasn't holding. The Leuko tape, I got a picture of it. It's like 3 days of Leuko tape, and it's still holding. Today I decided, why not? Why not? We'll take the tape off and clean up the toe. And I'm going to try and show, hopefully this works. So here's my poor little toe, and this is the toe next to it. And I sure wish I had nail polish remover. Man, oh man, do I wish I had nail polish remover. You can see I've got some kind of a blood blistery thing going on here, but the toe looks a lot better. And here's the thing. After like the next day of taping it, it didn't even hurt anymore. The day I started using the Leuko tape, could have never known it was broken. I don't even know if it's broken. Like, I don't know how fast does a toe heal. Anyway, the Leuko tape is amazing. So I'm going to retape that toe to the other toe with some fresh Leuko tape. And, I thought there was a spider coming down. Anyway, distraction. So I'm going to put on some fresh Leuko tape just in case. And I'll use it until my toe tells me it's no longer in pain. But right now I can move it and stuff, but it's a little too early. And besides, guess what? More rain tomorrow. Might rain tonight, 100% chance it said. So it's probably going to rain tonight. And then rain tomorrow. But it said rain today and we didn't have any. So you know what? Win. That's a win. All right. So that is the whole story of my toe. And I'll give you the update on today shortly. Okay, so for today's update, pretty uneventful actually. It was a really great day. I would use the word pleasant. Because we had done all the climbing yesterday to get to the top of the mountain where the shelter was, and I pitched my tent. All morning, I spent going downhill. It was fabulous, and it wasn't steep, and it was really nice, and it didn't rain, and the weather was cool, and I gotta tell you, it was awesome. And then I was sure, at some point this is gonna come back to bite me, but really, all the inclines were mild, like nothing crazy steep. Toward the end, I said, it was really funny. I said, nope, there's the requisite super steep climb before I can get to the shelter I want. But even that was so short, it hardly burned. It didn't. And throughout a couple times, 3 times today, the trail actually took me through overlooks where, we crisscrossed roads. Or actually, I think we we crisscrossed roads. Gosh, it seems so long ago. But there were overlooks, like where a car could pull over and then have this amazing view. So there were a few of those today. They had trash barrels. I was able to get rid of some trash. It was really, really pleasant until we got to the actual shelter. Now, it's not unpleasant. I had a glorious day. It doesn't hurt either that I only hiked 13 and a half miles today. I didn't even break a sweat. Okay, no, I didn't actually. It said it was 70s, but it was cloudy and the breeze was blowing the whole time. So, no, I really was comfortable all day. Now, unlike yesterday was very warm hiking, and I was sweating disgusting and being thoroughly gross yesterday, but that's yesterday. Today, super, super pleasant. Every bit of it was pleasant. The trails were pleasant. The hills were not awful, so they were pleasant. But the shelter. I knew this because I had read all about it last night. They said the tent sites are tough. And the shelter has an odor. I don't know what it is. It has a smell to it. So even if I was so inclined to stay in the shelter, I wouldn't want to. So I'm very glad I was preparing to pitch my tent, even if it's raining. But the sites are terrible. I'm at a complete downward angle. We got 2 people on one tent site because the other tent sites, the other supposed tent sites, are so badly pitched that no one could put a tent on there and sleep comfortably. So I had arrived first, and I knew this, so I said, the last thing I want is for another person to come through and need a spot. So I put my tent way to the side, and fortunately, I'm only going downhill a little bit. I can, I get my head at this, and I'll put my feet there, and it'll be fine, totally fine. But I can't even find a flat rock to cook my food on. It's just, you know what? It's that kind of site. I'm in the woods. Hello. But I go over to the picnic table. No, I'm not going near no possible Noro. So I'm just making it work out here. But I think I'm going to get my butt kicked tomorrow because I really, really, really want to go to a shelter called Cornelius Creek Shelter. And for fun, I looked up the elevation gain. It's over 5,000. I haven't done that kind of elevation gain in a very long time. So depending on what the terrain is, there is a bailout at about 16 miles. Oh, Cornelius is at 18 and a half. There's a bailout, 10 sites at 16. So, and that will be fine. I don't know why I want Cornelius because there's a nice creek there. Anyway, yeah, so we'll see. We'll see if I got it in me. But I think what I'm going to have to do, though, is get a really early start tomorrow. Today I left at 8:30. 8:45? Yeah. I think I was ready at 8:30 and then I took video of the shelter. I always find some reason to dilly-dally. But not tomorrow. I'm getting up early. I'm going to get out early. And I'm going to try and get to Cornelius tomorrow. But yeah, that's it for today. But you know what? Because I haven't got much to say, I got to tell you a couple stories that I've been, well, one in particular I've been dying to tell you. And I kept forgetting. So a friend of mine, Boardwalk, you remember him, he was telling me how he went on the side of the trail. He had to pee. So he goes off to the side of the trail, not in, off the trail, just to the side of the trail where nobody else was. His friends were way behind. And he goes to pee. He looks down and there's a flipping rattlesnake right at his ankle with its mouth open. Because obviously Boardwalk didn't see him, but startled the snake, and the snake was ready to defend itself. And he looks down and he's like, ah, so he books it, right? And his friends come up behind and got video of it. And it was so funny because when Boardwalk's telling me, he goes, oh yeah, I'll show you the video. I went, okay, so the snake was about to bite your ankle, but you took out your camera. He goes, no. He goes, Swampfoot did. I said, oh, so your friends saw you about to get your ankle bit and took out their phone. No, he said they were behind and they came up later and took a picture of it. Well, I said, well, the only thing I got to compete with that is one night, 2 a.m, my usual, I got up to go pee. And when I looked down, I was peeing on a salamander. The poor guy's like, pat, 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 pat. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. The poor little fella. He's just living his best life, and all of a sudden somebody comes and pees on him. Oh my God, that was so funny. But it was funny, but the poor fella. Anyway, all right, that's my story. Okay, you guys have a great night, and we'll be back tomorrow. Bye.